Hi everybody. Here we continue with the prepping of pieces for the flaps. So these are the main ribs. Unlike the ailerons, which have stiffeners on the skins, these just have main ribs that the skins will attach to. And one of the things you have to do is cut off a flange. So as you can see, these are completely pre-bent pieces. And if you look right there at the corner, well, I wish I could draw on there, but basically they have to fold the entire thing, but that very last flange that is pointing towards the camera on the right of that rib is no longer needed. So you have to cut it off. Dremel to the rescue once again. You can't really use a bandsaw or anything because it has to be only one side, and so it needs to have something that's basically just like a freeform cutting disc, which is what I'm using. And here you see me cutting. So yeah, I believe there's 16 ribs, 8 and 8, just like the front ribs. So we just had Fleet Week, and this was, I believe, Saturday. So there's a member, he and his girlfriend were there, so I drove him over to where the Blue Angels are on the field. It's pretty cool. In fact, I think I will find, yep, I'll just show a picture. So here's a picture of where we went to look at them. They didn't let us get too close, they were in maintenance mode, so we just, we got as close as we could, took some pics, they're pretty cool. So here I am, this is what I was talking about before. So I've got my standard drill bit with my drill stop mounted into my drill press, and I'm using that to final drill all of the number 40 flange holes in all the main ribs. So the main ribs come left and right, and I talked about taking the flange off the back of that rib. It's on an opposite side based on whether or not it's left or right. And then you need to go and final drill all the number 40 holes. So you do that, and that's what I just did, and forgot to turn the camera back. Because why not? So you'll also have to final drill all the number 30s. So there's 3 number 30s, and that's where they get, you know, that's where they'll wind up getting blind riveted to the spar later. So here's flap skins. So the flaps, same size as the ailerons, but definitely wider. I would have to say by 18 inches at least, just eyeballing initially. And so what you have to do is, so the left aileron will be all left main ribs, except for one. So you'll get one right rib from the other aileron, and you put it on the inboard side of the skin. And that's the edge of the skin that you can see there. And you use that to actually, you have to bend it a little bit. So you have to put it on there and kind of bend a flange so that it matches with the holes in the skin. So it's all left and one right, as the other one is all right and one left. And here I'm actually talking to that member and his girlfriend before we went out to drive to see the Angels. And not just the Angels. I mean, the Canadian Snowbirds are there, and they're a great team to watch. As well as there was a P-51 flying around with an F-16, as well as some Osprey. Sean D. Tucker on the Oracle plane was there for Fleet Week. It's great because he takes off of the, he's been taking off of my runway on 3-3, and that little plane just gets up quick. So the flaps really aren't that complicated. The one thing you do have to do, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be missing most of the video for this because I didn't turn the camera. is you have to make the trailing edge. So the trailing edge, you get the standard pieces of trailing edge. I want to say they're 4 feet, but I mean, I don't know exactly. But anyway, even the standard sizes of the trailing edges that you get from Vans, it's not wide enough for these flaps. You still are missing about 8 inches of trailing edge. So, and Vans knows this. So, one way to figure out which way these flap skins are is by looking at the trailing edge. It's a standard, whole width, just like a regular trailing edge, only at the end where the main piece stops, there's actually two holes pretty close together. What Vans wants you to do is trim part of one piece of the trailing edge so that you have 2 rivets pretty close to each other to kind of take up the slack for the fact that you've got a break in the trailing edge, because it's actually going to be 2 pieces. It's pretty simple to do. You just have to overlap one piece on top of the other, make a cut mark, go to your bandsaw. Now I always leave a little bit of extra because I can always just file it down until it matches perfect. And the one thing I will say about the flaps is that you can see how that bracket that the big bracket, the parallel bracket, you can see how it sticks down a lot. And that makes it placing this thing, working with it, kind of difficult. Since the 2 drop-down parallel brackets they're not wide enough to actually fit so that this fits across the table and sits flat. So you either have to have it dangling off the edge of a table, which just feels outright dangerous, or just wind up laying it on its head so that it doesn't fold that skin under. Anyway, just mocking up these here, and we will continue with the flaps later. So see ya.